With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at Meisterkhan.com or on YouTube under Meisterkhan Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Look who I've got with me today. It's actor Vernon Wells. So welcome, Vernon.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure to be here.
You know, you were such a big part of my teenage years growing up in the 80s. Me and my friends loved when you showed up on the screen.
Well, that's nice. In the 80s. Yeah. Well, what was it, 12? No, I actually, that was, as I'm reminded quite often, that's back when they made all the really fun movies.
Right? I don't know. Were the movies really that much different than now, or are we just nostalgic for the 80s?
I think the films back in the 80s had more of a humorous attitude to them. Now everything's so serious, and
it's true.
I just finished doing a film in which I was working, and it's a bit like one of the 80s films, and it's also serious, and you say, well, how about we just sort of have it? No, we can't do that. Then we'll just shoot the devil, won't we? And but back then, you had all the Arnie doing all these terrible one-liners and all the things that happened, Road Warrior with that whole wonderful thing. It was shot like it was this grand movie that you would see, like Gone with the Wind or something, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore. It's all rushed and done in 3 weeks and put together.
I know, I miss that.
Yes, so do I, being blunt. I'm always like, well, we're going to use you and we've got you in this major part, so we'll 3 days, will that be okay? It's like, I'm sorry, what? And what am I doing in 3 days? Well, we got 40 pages here. In 3 days? Wow, won't that be fun? And that's what it's like now. You're like, wait a minute. We did a whole movie, and as George Miller likes to say, I had 21 lines, and it took 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And you want to do 40 pages in 3 days? Oh, dear God. So
back in the 80s, that movies would go to theaters and they'd stay there for months.
Yes.
Now they're in and out in like a week or two.
Yeah, if they stay on top of it for 3 weeks, they're declared a major success.
Yeah.
I know.
I remember going to see Indiana Jones, and it had been at the theater for a year when I finally saw it.
Yes. And that's a prime example of how you had this wonderful movie, but there was so much comedy involved in it with Harrison Ford, because Harrison can't keep a straight face for more than 5 minutes. So, you had Harrison doing all these wonderful things, but it made the film real. There was these things. Today, everybody's a superstar, a superhero, bigger than life. Like, yeah, a little bit boring.
I'm with you. I think I do think the 80s were the best movie decade.
I don't know. Grace, do you think the 80s were the best decade?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, my wife thinks so.
Yeah. Of course, my fashion sense back then a little different than it is now. I was all parachute pants and muscle shirts, and I had the long hair. I was a mess.
Yep, I haven't changed much. I'm still a mess. But no, and the thing, even getting to this movie that I did, the Christmas tapes, the thing I loved about the part of it that I did was it harks back to that 80s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun in it, because that's the way I am, but it's also got that wonderful feeling of, oh crap. This guy is in so deep. And
aren't you playing Santa in this?
Santa Claus, yes, I'm a damn good Santa. Look at this, I got the beard and the whole thing. Yeah, It's funny. I was asked a few weeks ago, why did I play movies that had a lot of fear involved in them, scary
Yeah.
things. And I said, because to me, fear is based on a very basic concept, and that is that when we came down out of the trees, everything wanted to eat us. And
That's
we had
right.
no defense against anything. So we were scared every time we actually took a step. There was fear in everything that happened and everything we did. And there still is. And the whole basic concept of fear is to take something that we feel is so nice and everybody loves and make it as scary as hell. And Santa Claus is one of those things that kids sit on his knee and they expect him to come down the chimney and give them presents. And when he turns out to be this raging lunatic who's going to do some horrible things, you're like, oh my God, they've just destroyed my childhood. I'll look at Santa the same way again ever. I love that. That to me is is the fun part of it, that you take this thing and just twist it. And I've done it with clowns. I might as well do it with Santa Claus.
Might as well do it. Say, is this your first role in a Santa role?
In a Santa role, yes, but not in a Christmas movie. I've done 3-4 Christmas movies, but yeah, it's my first.
Do you have trouble keeping track of everything that you're in? I mean, you've got quite the resume.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit, huh? I have people that will be doing an interview like you are with me, and they'll say, "Yeah, but remember when you did?" And I go, "When did I do that?" they'll go, "Well, don't you remember?" And I go, "No, actually, I don't. So fill me in so I can come up to speed with you."
Well, we were talking off camera. I told you your IMBD says you got like 40 projects going on right now. Yeah. Why don't you just want to, take a break and relax?
No. I just my wife would be the same. She'd say, "No, please let him work."
That might be the secret to a happy marriage.
It is. Be away on location. No, it's I enjoy what I do, and I think I've kind of got to the point that I think every actor works to get to, and that is to be accepted for who you are and what you do. And now I don't really do a lot of auditioning. People will ring and say, "I've got this film and I've got this character and I want you to have a look at it, and would you be prepared to do it?" And I've been given some of the most amazing films with some amazing actors and actresses, which I would never have got 15 years ago.
Yeah. Now, well, that just shows the respect that you've got in the industry. You don't even have to try out now. They just send them to you.
Scary sometimes. But no, and then and this playing this character, and to me it was just hysterical. The man in the box. It's one of those things where it's like a game show, which is the way I do it. It's like a game show. You've got 3 questions and 5 answers. If you get them all right, you'll go home in the box. If you get them all wrong, you'll go home, but you may not in the box. It's that kind of thing. I love it. It's so much fun, and it's Santa Claus doing it.
Yeah,
it's even more fun.
Well, and this is, if I remember right, it's an anthology type of movie. It's got several stories.
Four films in the whole thing, short films, and that's another thing I love, is that you have to really have a good script and be able to put everything together so well if you're doing a short 25-minute film, because it still has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it has to make sense. People have to understand what the heck is going on, and they achieve that in these, which is what I love about it. You can get in there and in 25, and that's really a bad thing, because if you can do that in 25 minutes, what the hell do you need an hour and a half for?
That's right.
It's kind of scary. But no, it was it had 3 more car chases and 7 more killings. I mean,
Right.
what the
That's exactly right.
but I just love it. And I've been so fortunate. As I said, I was in Japan for the opening of a film I did, End of Loyalty. I did another one with a Japanese director here in the States. And I've been getting all these wonderful, wonderful films with wonderful people. This one, which I love. And I did a wonderful movie called Chill, Frost, with Devanny Pin, which is just me and Devanny in a car. And it's like, wow, how did I get
That
that?
had to be fun.
I don't know. I was too busy watching. No, yes, it was. It was a great movie. No, she's a wonderful, wonderful lady and a wonderful actress. And then the other night we went to see a screening of another film I did, the Monster Within, with another young lady who put it together herself, and she refused to do the film unless I did the role. And it's a priest, a fallen priest, and once again, it's these roles you get that you have to go, let me think, I'm playing a priest that's trying to save somebody from the devil, and I probably play some of the worst roles on film. Where does this actually make sense? And it's like the same with Santa Claus. I'm playing Santa Claus and I've played Wes. Should Santa have a mohawk? Well, I don't know, might work, may not.
I would pay to see Santa with a mohawk.
It's that funny thing.
You have managed to you like find all the good villain roles. You've played all of them.
Yeah, I've been so fortunate. I sometimes think that if I ever explode one day and really lose my temper, whoever's in front of me is in so much shit. And that worries me, because I think to be able to do it, there has to be a little tiny part of you that you're going to bring that up. And you think, yeah, exactly, where is it? Because I want to put a chain on it in case it ever comes out. It's sometimes it's a little, and then you come and become Santa, and you do what? You get a guy and you start torturing him, and you're going to send him home in a box. Good Lord. I mean,
that's a little different than the Santa we grew up with.
Yes. I remember Santa. Now I don't want to see him.
One thing I liked about this movie was the posters that they put out. They look like the old VHS tapes that we used to get movies in the 80s. We go and rent and watch. That's kind of what the poster looked like.
Yeah. And it gives you no hint of what's about to come.
Yeah.
You sort of look at it and you go, oh, this looks like fun. There's a Santa. And it was funny, a few years ago, I did a film for a good friend of mine. He was doing a zombie movie. And he rang me and he said, I'm doing a zombie movie. Do you want to be in it? And I went, oh, come on, man, a zombie movie, really? And he said, I don't want you to be a zombie. And I said, okay, whatever. He said, you're going to be the hero. And I said, oh, good Lord, I'm the hero. And he said, and in the first 5 minutes, Santa gets shot. I went, keep talking.
Yeah, keep talking.
It's interesting. And it was so funny because he said to me, you're the hero. You fight your way through the zombies to this group that's trapped in this house, and you tell them, I'm going to rescue your butts. And when I tell you, I'm going to go down now, and I'm going to make sure the way's clear. And when I tell you to get your butts down here, you get down, we'll get in the truck, and we're out of here. And they're like, yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, he's a hero. He's going to. And I go downstairs and go through the door, and the zombies kill me. And I love it so much. It's just so
hilarious.
So I loved it so much. I went, oh my God, that is just so amazing. And it's that thing that entertains us as actors, that entertains people as viewers. And that's the point. If you aren't enjoying what you're doing, how the hell do the people watching it enjoy it? Because they can see it in your eye. I watch movies and I go, oh, good God, he would like to strangle that woman rather than kiss her. And that to me is that destroys the movie for me. You've got to have that that same thing. And in this,
Well, you need some chemistry.
yes, in this with the Santa Claus thing is that same thing, because everybody in that scene, there's only three of us in the whole thing, but the three of us are so into each other, like doing it, that it's fun for the audience to watch it, because the
Yeah.
audience gets into it. Now they're having fun with what we're doing. There's not this sort of
Well, we can tell as an audience, we can tell when the cast doesn't really get along.
Yes. And I mean, this I think was what was so amazing, that our wonderful director Robert, he was able to choose actors that all complemented each other, and actresses the same. That we all had a thing that we could do it, and it would look like we were enjoying it. And that especially in mine, the Santa Claus one.
Yeah.
There had to be fun. He had to be enjoying himself. But at no time could it ever go into that part of being that Santa was just virtually a killer, killing for the sake of killing. Yeah, he's
right.
But he's doing it for a reason. And it's, to me, it's like the old Christmas story, Scrooge, and Scrooge gets his up and comings. Well, this is basically the same, except Scrooge gets his ass kicked by Santa Claus. So it's, and I'm sort of the ghost of the past, the present, and the future, all wrapped up into one. And baby, you are in deep crap. And that's what I loved about it. I thought it was just so much fun that you take.
Yeah, I love that. The perfect Christmas movie.
Yes. And, I'm telling you, there are going to be so many daddies and mummies write to me saying, "Oh, thank you so much. I only had to get my son one present. He didn't want Santa anywhere near him." So, it's that kind of thing. I don't want Santa giving me presents.
No.
Fine. Yeah.
When does it come out?
I believe on the 16th. I don't think it's written.
Yeah. I think that's right. And it'll be available everywhere, right? All the streamers.
Yep. All over the place, and in Australia, and oh God, in Australia, all my friends will be ringing me. Oh, yay, Sandy, you just screwed my Christmas. But yeah, it was fun doing it. I was really happy to be in it, and it's just one of those things, if I can have fun, the audience is going to have fun. It's sometimes you have to be very aware of what you're doing. The film I went to Japan about, the one that I did, the director and I talked about it, and I play the role. There's just this one continuous scene that I'm in. There's other scenes I'm in, but towards the end, just this one continuous scene. And he said, "How do you want to play this?" And I said, "Well, to me, the guy is an egotistical a-hole. However, he does have the power to be an egotistical a-hole, and he can do exactly what he says he can do. Therefore, he has no reason to raise his voice, to do anything, but to just be very cool, calm, and collected."
Yeah.
Yet that this man has just finished killing 25 people.
One of the reasons that I love your acting so well is that you never play a boring character.
No, I can't do it. I really can't. I get up there, I change them if they're boring. It's funny. I did a film with a friend of mine, and also a very good friend of mine, Robert, who passed away regrettably. I loved working with. I played a cop, and he played a game warden. And it's about aliens landing in this resort that's surrounded by fire, and no one can get in, no one can get out. And all these school kids are having their summer break, and they're all up there. And of course, the aliens think it's a smorgasbord. And we would niggle each other, because it was just obvious that I was a cop, and he would be going, "So do we have donuts with our coffee or what?" And I'd go, "Yeah, right, you son of a." And then when it was like, "So what do you think did it?" I'd say, "Talk to him. He's a genius about animals, he'll tell you." And he'd be like, so it was it, but it wasn't in the script. It was just,
I love that.
it was just this niggling between us, and it
Yeah.
became part of the film. We were always having a go at each other, but it was like real. That's what two good friends are like.
That's exactly right.
There's
I love that. That's true to life.
yes, and so it just made the characters fun. And originally they were a little bit, but we sort of changed them into being real people
Yeah,
who
you
had
fixed them.
no clue what they were doing. They were up to their necks in it, and they knew they were never going to get out. So you had all these wonderful things.
I mean, would if something like that happened in real life and you were going through it with a good friend, even though you're like in fear of your life, wouldn't you still be giving each other a hard time?
Of course,
I would.
yeah, the reality is if you start thinking about what is actually going to happen,
That's right.
you start to panic, and then you start to like, it's over, we're all going to die, why should I bother? Whereas if you're niggling at each other and you're being smart-assed about things, there's always that, all right, you son of a bitch, I'll show you. I am. And so what you're doing is you're just keeping that whole consciousness of we've got to survive.
Yeah.
And I think even in this with Santa Claus, it's the same thing. Santa's just trying to survive. He was fired for no good reason. He's pissed off. He's going to get his retribution. And this guy's a total a-hole. But now suddenly he decides, I'm going to become the savior of my family and be home for Christmas. Well, guess what? Santa may have a word or two to say.
That's right. Maybe not.
And maybe not. So it's that thing, that
Yeah.
you have to work against expectations. People see me turn up in a movie now and they go, someone's going to die.
That's true.
And the thing is, I'm her grandfather. No one's going to die. It's like it's fun. People go, I just saw you in that. You didn't kill anybody. Uh-huh. Wow, man, I was waiting for an hour.
Yeah, we waited the whole movie, nothing happened.
So did you like the movie? Oh yeah, the movie was great, but you didn't kill anybody. It's like that. The expectation is so hysterical at times. But I love it because if people are never sure of what you're doing or what you will do, they always want to watch what you're doing because they want to see,
right.
want to be able to go, I knew he'd do that. I knew he'd do that. But if you don't do it, they're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, what happened?
Why didn't I? Damn. So yeah, no, I'm always looking for the way of making the character work within the framework of the movie. Making it work so that it's enjoyable and people that watching it will get fun out of it.
That's terrific.
Even if it's a bad, if it's a hard movie and there's things happening, which, I've just finished a movie in which it's, but I put together a team of assassins basically, and that's woo. And one of them's this young lady. There's two girls in it, but one of them's this young lady who I regard as my daughter in reality. And so there's this whole thing between us, father and daughter, which brings this whole new level to the film because suddenly you see this love, this man who's put together a team that will kill people and do things. And
but it makes you relatable.
Yeah, and they may even get killed doing it. But he has so much affection for this young lady but he's still prepared that she has to do what she has to do.
That sounds pretty good.
And so it puts a whole new level on what's going on. And, I look at that. I look at Santa here. Santa's got his wife with him and she's backing him up 100%. That puts a whole new level to it. It's not just Santa running around like some kind of raving lunatic. It's Santa has his wife who agrees with why he's doing it. So now it makes people go, oh, well, it can't be too bad.
Santa's had enough.
Yeah, Santa's had enough. Santa's a little pissed, Maybe the cookies and milk just wasn't enough. Well, we should have hired a Scotch might have helped. But, I think actually that's in the scene too. But no, we won't go there.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yes, no spoilers. No spoilers. Santa is very nice and gives presents to all the little, especially the ones he's got in the very large box. It's just I love it.
That's great. I think that's so terrific that you stay busy, but you love what you're doing,
Oh God, yes.
which comes across. Like when you watch your movies, you can tell if you were just phoning it in and just putting the time in, it'd be obvious. But it's not like that.
If I say yes, I do it.
Yeah,
100%.
that's great. Do you have a one liner from the '80s that's your favorite?
A one-liner from the 80s.
Yeah,
Favorite. Good God.
I know there were so many. That was one of the best things about the '80s.
God, yes. God, all those
I mean,
movies.
you had some pretty good deaths, some pretty good epic deaths where other people were saying,
Oh God, yes. I that's what I used to say is that I'd love to put a reel of my deaths together because I had some really cool deaths.
some
And
good ones.
I love it when they say, "Well, you're going to get killed," and it's how, and they go, "Well, we're going to shoot you." Oh, no, we're not going to shoot me. We're going to come up with something better than that. Because I always think that if you play that type of character that builds to that conclusion, he better go down hard. And
That's
the
right.
audience is looking for it because there's always that cop out syndrome. Oh, they shot him, sort of thing. He killed 300 of them, but they shot him.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah, it's too quick.
yes, yeah, they should have ripped his arms off and tore out his fingernails or something, but they shot him. And I hate that. I always fight against it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, can we? And yeah, I'll come up with an idea or a way I think that we could possibly make this work so that there's a conclusion. To me, everything has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Otherwise,
Yeah.
and that this little story has that a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it has to have it. Otherwise, it makes no sense. And even though in the end, Santa may or may not win, it's still a justifiable end. And if
That's
you
right.
can't have that, people walk away going, "What the? Why did we?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yes, I mean, I'm the same with. A long time ago, I watched a film and there was this whole sequence in it where there was this female lead, and she's doing like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. She's dressing in a thing, and she has a pistol on her thigh, and she takes a pistol out and she goes to this wall that's got all these rocks in it. And she gets a knife behind it and pulls this rock out, slides the gun in, slides the thing back, makes it all nice, and leaves. And I'm thinking, smart. Well, just when she needs it, she'll come back for that. Never came up in the movie again. And
Oh, yeah, that would bug me.
for the whole movie, I kept thinking, when are they going to go to the gun? Because they made such a big thing of it
Yeah.
that now you feel gypped. Like, you screwed me. You had me waiting for you screwed me, you. And so you've missed a lot of things in subtext that you should have picked up in the film. And I hate that. I think that's one of the big things that we do in movies is that we tend to forget that there has to be a through line all the way to the end, and the audience has to be able to follow it. And even if I have a really good friend in Australia who I love working with. He's one of the best young writers I've worked with in years. But what he does is there'll be things in his movies like that thing with the gun that you'll go, But then right as the movie starts to wind down, every one of those things will be shown. You'll go through it and go, oh my God, that's why.
Yeah, see, I love that. That's what you want.
And then this will happen. You go, wow, God, that goes into the thing right in the first bit. Because that is how you do a movie. Because everything that was there that needed to is tied up. And you love it. I love that. Because I go, yes, now that's a movie. But now in the 80s, we did that all the time.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that John had to throw pipes at me. But we did all the other stuff pretty well. Him and I fought. I mean, two big boys throwing shit at each other. Talk about, I had
It was a battle.
I had my elbow fractured. He had his collarbone cracked. It was, we were two.
Well, you gave as good as you got, at
Oh
least.
yeah,
Till the end.
That was why he wanted me. He
Yeah.
said he's one big son of a bitch, and that'll make it work. And to me, that's how it had. Yeah, you couldn't have somebody that it looked like if Arnold went, they fell like, you had to have somebody that you knew would go toe to toe and give as good as they got. And I like that. And today we've gone past that with all our superhero movies. Now they take on 400 people and they just beat the crap out of them. There's no one big enough to stand up to them. I think you lose a lot of power for the movie with that. Yeah, sure, it's great to watch all this blood and guts flowing, but also, is he ever going to be beaten by anybody? And when he is, do you give a shit?
Yeah.
You kind of.
That's a good point. I mean, that was part of the reason we loved those movies was because they always had that epic battle scene there at the end. You had a good guy and a bad guy, and they were battling it out.
And you were never sure who was going to win.
Yeah.
At any stage, I could have beaten Arnold, or Arnold could have beat me in that one. And so you're watching that guy. Oh my God, is he going to win? Maybe he won't this time. And that's what gives people that little rush. And then when you finally succumb or you succeed in overcoming the odds, people cheer. They love it. And that's why I love movies. That's why I love what I do.
I remember going to see Commando in the theater, and when you died, there at the end, they did cheer. Mm-hmm. That the theater kind of erupted at that.
Yep, that's to me, that's making that movie works because everything worked in it up to that point. The villain was what he should have been. The things that happened were what they should have been. And when he died, they went, yes. Yes. And that's what a movie is. You're supposed to cheer when the villain gets it because the villain's the one who's an asshole.
That's right.
But
movies are more fun when they're interactive. No offense to the Japanese that wait until the very end.
Yes.
To celebrate.
Yeah. Damn it. So you're never quite sure if you've done a good job or a bad job until at the end they go, oh yeah. You think.
I think it would be funny if they were doing that on purpose because they knew it made you nervous.
They probably are. I wouldn't put it past the little shits.
Well, Vernon, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. This has been terrific. You've always been one of my favorite actors. I'll tell you the movie that I really liked, Jim, was Fortress with Christopher Lambert.
Yes. Yeah. Which one? I did two.
Well, I enjoyed the first one.
The one with the kids?
The one, the one that, I'm sorry, you did do two movies that were called Fortress. The one with Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert, yeah.
Yeah. That one was always, I just always really enjoyed that movie.
It was a great movie. I loved it.
I forgot that you had one several years before that. Yes. Same title.
Yep. The Fortress, which was based on a true story about kidnapped a busload of
that was also a very good movie.
That was fun. I played Dabby Duck.
Yeah. And my son, who does this podcast with me, he said to let you know that you were always his favorite on the Power Rangers. That's when, that was during when he was growing up, Power Rangers was kind of at their height and, he watched all that.
I love that year I did on Time Force. That was just so much fun. It was like it was more like the series every day. It was the Power Rangers against that a-hole over there. They were they were trying to do me, no matter how it was, they were going to get me. And so funny because all it did was it made them try so much harder. And that's why our series that year became one of their best years they ever had. Because they were out there, because I didn't go, oh, look, they're all kids, I'll be nice. It was like, they're all kids, I'm going to kick their ass for 12
That's
months.
right.
And they, no, you're not. And, you know, like, so they really, and we're still friends. The funny thing is that 30 odd years after that series, all of us, every one of us that were in that series are the best of friends. We all
I
talk,
love that.
we love each other. If there's a convention where we can all go, we're all there together. It's just, we became a team because of that whole thing, that there was none of this, excuse me, I'm an actor and you're just peons in my way. Get out of the
They
way.
weren't just work friends.
Yes, it was not that at all. It was like, we're all in this soup together, kids. We sink or we swim. So let's make it work. And we did. We made it work. We had fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Your son, I thank you so much for saying that, because it was one of my favorite things, that series.
Yeah, terrific. Well, thank you so much, Vernon. Last thing, I guess, before we go. So Christmas Tapes comes out December 16th.
Yep.
So we'll look for that. Are you on social media? If you are, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on all the other things. I'm out there on everything, and mostly it's under my own name. I never try to hide who I am, so I'm out there. It's either VG Wells, Vernon George Wells, or VG.
I didn't have any trouble finding you.
Yeah, nobody does. Surprise! Hey, asshole, what are you doing? Do I know you?
Probably making a movie, judging by your IMDb page.
Yeah. But
well,
no,
thank you so much, Vernon. I hope at some point you'll come back, visit us again.
Would love to anytime. I've had a ball. It would be, and next time have your son, and I can give him a hard time.
I'll drag him with me. Well, we maybe we'll catch you at a convention at some point. We cover a lot of those.
Oh, great! I would love that.
Yeah.
But yep. Thank you so much, sir. I've enjoyed it. I'm going to hang up from you and go on to another one.
Well, best of luck, sir. Thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure, and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And remember, Santa Claus is not really that bad. He's a nice guy, okay? Tell your son he'll bring presents.
Yeah, it's all good.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, my friend.
Oh, my gosh. How fun was that, Vernon Wells? I am such a fan. That was a bucket list. Those of you that have been following the podcast for a while know how excited I got when we had Mark Singer, the Beastmaster, on. Vernon Wells right there. Those 80s action stars and villains, some of my absolute favorite actors. And he is such a busy, active, hardworking person that doesn't need to. He's done so much, he could just take a break, but he just keeps going. And you can tell just by listening to him, he's still putting his heart into it. You know, he's still out there enjoying himself. Still looks like he could probably go toe to toe with Arnold. Pretty impressive. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, we didn't even mention Weird Science, where he kind of made fun of some of his villain turns. You know, we briefly mentioned his work in The Road Warrior. I talked about Fortress. You know, I absolutely loved him in Commando. Commando, underrated movie to see at the theater. It was amazing. And then, of course, you know, he showed up on a lot of shows that I used to watch back then. Knight Rider, Hunter, The Fall Guy, Homicide. You know, some really good stuff. And I think he even had a role in Conan the Adventurer, if I remember that correctly. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had a blast doing that one. If you did enjoy it and you're new to the show, if you're watching, we'd really appreciate your support. If you could subscribe, it's YouTube Meisterkhan Pod. It's free. but it really helps us out. Just click that button, click subscribe. If you're listening, wherever you're listening to your podcast from, subscribe. That also helps us out. We are barreling towards 500 episodes. I can't believe it. We're at the end of December will be the end of our 4th year of doing the podcast. That's hard to believe. And in that 4 years, we're going to hit 500 episodes, maybe a couple more, but at least 500. So by the end of the month, we'll be at the 500. That's pretty exciting. You can find all of those audio and video on our website, Meisterkhan.com. If we're going to see Vernon at a convention, it'll be on there. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, all of that will be on the website, Meisterkhan.com. So definitely check that out. We could use the support there as well. And I'll also mention, if you're a meme fan, right now on our Facebook page, Meisterkhan Christmas is going on. It's 25 days of Christmas memes. So if you're a fan of that, you like to laugh a little bit about the holidays, definitely check that out. Should be close to 1,000 Christmas memes by the time we're done. We started midnight December 1st. We're going to run all the way until midnight on Christmas Day. So definitely check that out. Meisterkhan on Facebook. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.